everybody, and welcome back to Quick Looks with the Casual Hour. I'm Chase. That's Bobby. This is Venba.
Hello.
I'm out of things to say.
It's gonna be a cooking good time here on this Quick Look.
This is a Venbelievable game.
I've been Venba excited to show this to you.
Yeah. So Bobby, you're playing, but I'm gonna kind of mostly be talking here. I have finished Venba. You finished Venba, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we both finished this game. It's a really short game, like hour and a half, maybe 2 hours if you're really not getting it, but it's not that difficult. I'll knock out the other information here while this kind of story stuff is going on at the beginning. Venba released July 31st of 2023. It's out on the Switch. It's out on PS5, Xbox, PC. It's out on everything. This is a cooking game. I mean, it's a story-driven game based around food and cooking, and it's really good.
It's very good. I was very impressed with what we checked out. We talked about it on our podcast, Casual Hour, and I think we'll be talking about it come Game of the Year stuff. We're going to capture this on a PC today via Game Pass. I think the game's $15, you said, on everything.
Let me make sure. I mean, it's on sale on Switch right now for $12.74, but that probably won't be lasting until our Quick Looks out. So yes, $15, let's say.
Yeah, for sure. And it is I guess I would say it's a narrative-driven cooking game, and it's a very short romp, as Chase said, but it's not without emotional weight. And it's a game that stays with you well beyond that hour and a half, I feel.
Definitely. So you play as Venba, who's the woman on the couch here, and you have moved to Canada. You are from India. You've moved to Canada with your husband here, and you get to make some light decisions here on some of the text here. It doesn't. I haven't noticed it mattering too much.
I think it's the same outcome for the most part.
But you've moved to Canada to try to make a better life for yourselves. You're finding out, as many immigrants do, that hey, you had the opportunities to do really nice jobs, like the husband, I forgot his name. He was a writer, and she was a school teacher in India. And now that they've come to America, he's struggling to find jobs, and the writing's not working because his English is not that great, and she can still teach, but she's kind of limited in what she can teach because of, again, mostly the language barrier.
So we're given an option here. I think it's the same outcome as Chase called out, but we need to make lunch for our husband. He needs to go not on an empty stomach to work today, so we're going to get up even though we're not feeling great, and we're going to make some idli. I think that's how you say that. Is that correct? I
do not know.
Yeah, and I think, look, Chase and I are just a couple white dudes in the Midwest. We're going to do our absolute best here, but I will say this game has been a really eye-opening experience for me, because I love to cook, but Indian cuisine is one that I just haven't had as much experience with, and I think there's a lot that this game unpacks in that sense around cultures and what that looks like, but I found it very fascinating and very enlightening. There was a demo for this that Chase and I checked out on one of our Monday Night Casual Monday streams, and it was part of the Steam Next Fest. You might have seen this game on the Wholesome Direct.
Yeah, and this is the demo right here, is this very first thing. So you're not missing anything, or if you want to do the demo and play this yourself, you can. So here's kind of the main mechanic of this game, is that you have your mother's recipe book here, and you can open it up and see what's in there and how to make this thing. But then when you actually open up the recipe, it's not 100% readable. Some things have smudged, some things have been torn out, and you kind of have to puzzle it out and guess a little bit of what. So Bobby, just open up that. Yeah, there you go. So you can see one little piece has been smudged out. We don't know what exactly that means. So we just kind of have to guess based on the context clues that we have of how you are supposed to make this dish.
Yeah, so we'll close out of that, and now we're finding out that we haven't had to use these plates before, but we'll figure this out. I'm feeling pretty good about that. this is the method here is to make them as soft as possible. So we've got our batter, we've got some towels, we have a lid, water, our cooking book, and then our plate. And then, of course, our steamer here. So why don't we start by putting down one of our towels, as that seems to fit there nicely.
Wow, you've already figured out the puzzle.
Yes, I did it. I did it, which is so the batter can cook, make sure to blank or it will leak. So using the towel helps out with that. As we're looking through it.
If you watched us play this on the Steam Next Fest, you'll you might know we didn't get that the first time. We were really bad at that part and just kept wondering what was going on.
So now when we put that in here, we have the opportunity to twist this. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And you can see that we've got these holes that we're trying to line up to allow steam to come through. So then it kind of becomes a rinse, wash, repeat situation here. Now we'll put this plate down.
Bobby, I will ask you to screw this up, please, just so we can show that it has been screwed up.
Yep. So we'll put that in there, and then lock it up, and see how it turns out. We're cooking these things. I really like the music too. That was something I wasn't expecting them to incorporate as well as they did, and I think the music's been really enjoyable. Yeah,
she always turns on the radio before starting to cook.
Oh no! It looks like only the bottom plate cooked. Maybe the steam from the water did not reach the upper plates. There must be an orientation of those plates that would allow the steam to pass freely. So that's kind of what happens there, Chase. Like if you screw something up, you get a gimme. Like basically start the whole thing over again.
Right. And there will be some things that they won't let you screw up on. Like I tried to put the towel, I tried to pour the batter into the spaces and then put the towel over it. And she's like, I don't think that's going to work. I think that would stick to the batter. So there are some things that they won't let you do, and then some, but most of the time they will let you kind of screw up a little bit and see what. No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're about to do the same thing. I think they do a good job of helping you get there, even when you aren't 100% sure what to do. But even as I played this game, and again, I'm not Indian. I've never made these dishes. I've heard of maybe one of these dishes before playing this game, because this is a different part of India than or the food culture here is from a different part of India than the basic stuff that Americans would know. I mean, nobody's making butter chicken here. Nobody's making chicken vindaloo or something like that. And that's even commented on later in the game, where somebody's like, oh, I just want, some very traditional Indian recipes like chicken vindaloo. And like, well, I mean, that's kind of just from one part of India. That's not really what all of India makes. And it's interesting. It's cool. I really like how they're able to build this game and build on this culture and bring in this food culture. I just think it's really neat.
Totally. And I think, one of the things that we talk a lot about, like we have games for impact, we talk about touchy-feely, we talk about like the emotional like storytelling that's happening in video games as a medium. And this is just like one of those reminders of like how you can use video games to be really effective storytelling. And while some of the stuff that you're doing here, like I'm not interacting with this dialogue that much. We have these situations where we have to answer, but ultimately there is a way to have a tactile ability to like touch some of the elements of the story through gaming that I think makes it stick with you a little bit more. And I find that I wasn't really expecting this game to have the emotional impact it did on me. I did think it was going to be more of just a cooking game. And it's really more of like an interactive novel or visual novel in that sense. And you mentioned a few games on our stream this past week, or our podcast, I'm sorry. Florence was one that came to mind, and that stood out to me. That was the game told a lot through like text messages with your partner. it's just using the medium to tell a story in a really powerful way, and I think that Venba does that in spades, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we haven't really gotten to see much of the emotional stuff here. This is just the first thing that you do. But to give a slight spoiler, Venba is feeling a little under the weather right now because she's pregnant, and she doesn't know that yet, and she's about to. And then that changes. The game kind of similar to a number of games, but something like Unpacking, where it comes in at different time periods, and so now you'll come back and now the next chapter is going to be, it's she's had the child now, and now she needs to make something for the 5-year-old child, and what can we make? And now he's a little bit older, and he's you start to realize that the game is more about how these parents, who are these first generation immigrants, are still kind of trying to figure out how to live in Canada and make it work. And then the child, who is growing up in Canada and speaks English and is able to speak his native language as well, there starts to be this, what culture is this child, and what culture does this child want to identify with? Does he want to identify more with the Canadian style side of his life that all of his friends are a part of, and that everything around him feels like it's a part of, or is he going to embrace more of his Indian roots? And that tension is part of the game, and here's where you discover that she is with child, and that's really where the game starts to pop off.
Yeah, so we're playing the full release, but this is where the demo would end. And I think that's where we're going to end it here. Again, we've been going at this for 15 minutes. It's an hour and 20, so we don't want to show more of the game, and it is much better experienced by you, the player.
Yeah, I would say, how many recipes do you think there are in here? Like maybe 8?
Let me just pull up the chapters really quick.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 chapters.
Okay.
So maybe a few more recipes within those chapters, but not a whole lot more. So
yeah.
The one thing we did not discuss on here is you played this on the Nintendo Switch, and while it's not graphically intense to warrant playing it somewhere like on a big PC, I have found using a mouse was really handy for some of the recipes. How was it with the controller?
It's fine. Yeah, I mean, it's slower for sure, but there's also some nice parts where you have to stir something or mix something, and it has you spin the right analog stick instead of so some of that feels a little bit more contextually interesting, and then other parts, like the thing with the idlis there, is like, that's a little tedious of dragging your cursor from one area and dragging it over to the other area, where a mouse drag would be a little bit more natural. But for the most part, it is just fine, and again, it's not a very intensive game. It's going to play just fine. You don't really have to worry about load times or anything. Right. It's just a really good game, and I think everyone should try it, no matter what you're playing on.
If you want to hear more of our thoughts, as we mentioned, we talked about this on our podcast, The Casual Hour, which we record every Wednesday at 9 p.m. on twitch.tv/casual hour. You can find all of our prior episodes wherever you listen to your podcast, so like, subscribe, follow along there. We also stream games. We talked about Casual Mondays and the Steam Next Fest. Monday nights, Chase and I get together at 9 p.m. on Twitch, and we stream a game together. And then on Friday, the other member of the Casual Hour, Johnny, joins me, and we get to play some games together on Friday. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. live on twitch.tv/casual hour. But if you found this video on YouTube, I would encourage you to like and subscribe to our channel, because we bring all of our prior streams over to this platform, and you can find our quick looks here as well. So again, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9, and then Friday mornings around 10 a.m. is where you'll find our new episodes every week, wherever you subscribe to your podcast. Chase, thanks for narrating this one. This was a ton of fun. Go play this game. It is worth every single second of your time, and we will talk to you all very soon. Take care.